So before we begin, I want to remind you to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you can be made aware every time we put out a new video. And remember to check us out on Instagram, and now you can also find us on Facebook for exclusive content. Let's get to it. Hey again, everybody. I just want to thank you guys for all the love, all the support you're giving us. The channel's continuing to grow. We're seeing regular progression in subscribing numbers, view time, all of these things. Makes it easier for us to give you this good content. We appreciate it. Hope you're liking the daily updates. We don't plan on changing anything, but we're wide open to different ideas that you guys might have. So if there's some top fives or some reviews that you'd like to see, put them out there and we'll do our best to make them happen. Well, so what we're going to talk about today are the top 5 queues that need an upgrade. Top 5 queues that are just really not that good. A few weeks ago, we gave you the video talking about the top 5 queues that were better than their attractions, and so here's the opposite. This is not to say they're better or worse than their attractions. These are just queues that need some love, and there's quite a few of them. And for the most part, they have the same real reason, but we'll break them down in a little more depth. So let's get right to it.
Great Scott, number 5.
Number 5 is the Simpsons Ride. I want to say, I really enjoy this ride. One of my favorites. I'm a Simpsons guy, I've said that before, really enjoy it, and I like the attraction. I've heard that some people get nauseated on this attraction. I'm not one of those people. Never has that happened to me. I just like the attraction. I know the screen's not overly clear or bright, but I love the element of this attraction. You know what I don't love? The queue. I think it's horrible. For the most part, it's a state fair kind of queue. You're literally walking down aisles of outside that are just guarded off by rails and poles. Yeah, they're painted red and there's TVs up there playing unique cartoons of The Simpsons, and there's some throwbacks with Doc Brown and there's some tributes and Easter eggs to Back to the Future, but so what? I mean, it's outside, it's hot, it's long, and it's awful. And I think Springfield is one of the most amazingly themed areas in this park. I think they should have done better than this. It starts out really nice when you go into Krusty's mouth and you're surrounded by all the carnival games, and so it has that feel. And then you get into this queue and you're like, wow, this is bad. Not to mention that a lot of it's uphill and you're standing outside, the sun's beating down on you when you get to that one section right before you get into the room. You know what I'm talking about. And it's hot and it's awful. And then when you get into the room, it's really not much better. It's just this room with more lines for you to stand in and a little bit of decor on each side with a TV show kind of playing. It's just not impressive, frankly, at all. And then when you get into the tiny room right before you go to get into the ride cart, the attraction cart, it has the mirror there that makes you look funny, and there's a TV show that comes in and then tells you all of the pre-show warnings and, you know, all of the stuff that's happening, and you're just like, get me on the ride already, I don't even care. This is a terrible queue for a really quality ride, and it needs to be redone. And it wouldn't be hard to make this indoors. It wouldn't be hard to change this up. I mean, it's The Simpsons. You could put animatronics. You could put even just cutouts. You could do so much more than they've done. This is really not a good queue. And for all of those reasons, this one comes in at number 5.
Number 4. Boop, boop, be, doop, boop.
Number 4 is Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. For all of the same reasons I just mentioned about The Simpsons. Most of the time, this ride has a huge wait time. Now, it's better since they got rid of the 3D, but I think as it progresses, that's going to progressively get back up to the always you're waiting an hour for this attraction unless you have Express. And the first part of your line is, again, outside in long lines with just rails separating you back and forth with no theming. And it's horrible. And then you get along the side of the building where you're about to go inside, and it's horrible. There's nothing happening, and you see all the people walking down the aisleway. You look across and you see the people waiting to get into Shrek, and it's the same scenario. And then you get into the room. Now, I know they just redid this when they kind of took the 3D off of this ride, and it's a little better, but not much. It's basically like you're in Gru's living room, and the girls have written crayon things on the walls, and it's cute, and I can appreciate that, but that's all it is. It's just a room that's themed mildly. This used to be where you get your 3D glasses. Now it's just a room with more poles separating your aisles. And then you go into the next room, and it's the same exact thing. And I just think that Universal can do better than this. I get it's a limited space. Now, this used to be one of my favorite rides when it was Hanna-Barbera, taking you through the Flintstones, Bedrock, and the Haunted Mansion there with Scooby-Doo, and then the Jetsons. And then I liked it again when it progressed to the next phase with SpongeBob going through Bikini Bottom and Jimmy Neutron and Hey Arnold. I love that. And then when Despicable Me came in, I really liked this too. And it was one of my favorite rides, favorite attractions. When they took the 3D away, I probably won't go on it again. I missed the 3D. I thought it was excellent. But the queue leaves a lot to be desired. There's really nothing other than that one room, and it's not impressive at all for what is a pretty good ride. So for all those reasons, Despicable Me Minion Mayhem comes in at number 4.
Top 10 gigawatts! It's number 3!
Number 3 is Rip Ride Rockit. This one almost made number 1, but I wanted to give them just a little bit of grace, thinking there's got to be some reasons they couldn't do this. But there's tremendous opportunity here. Again, this was a queue that is all outdoors and probably could have been inside. They probably could have enclosed the inside portion or the outside portion of this queue, at least up until you get to where you walk up the stairs to get onto the attraction. That would have to be outside, but the rest of it could easily have been enclosed. Really, the queue is nothing. There's no queue. I mean, the locker station is good. And again, you go through the metal detector and then you're just kind of walking through these long, whatever, aisles, areas to get to the steps to get onto the attraction. And that's it. You have TV shows playing characters that no one knows, talking like they're cool and hipsters about whatever's happening in music, and it's just really, really bad. It's poorly done, and I expected a lot more from Universal with this. I like the attraction. Rip Ride Rockit, although it's kind of a rocky, jerky roller coaster, is still pretty cool, but I think about this for a minute. The theme is rock and roll, and you get to pick your own music. Well, you've got the Hard Rock Hotel, you've got the Hard Rock restaurant there, right there, so you have a good working relationship with Hard Rock, and they have all this memorabilia. Why not enclose the downstairs portion of the queue and put memorabilia there? I mean, this could be really cool. It could be an exceptional queue. Think about all the stuff you could see that is associated with the songs that you get to pick while you're riding this ride. Not to mention, it could be upgraded and updated on a regular basis. That would be cool. Probably not that expensive, and probably something that we would appreciate because it would be inside and cooler. Remember, it's always hot in Florida, and when you gotta wait outside, that's no bueno. So, for all of those reasons, Rip Ride Rockit comes in at number 3.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Dudley Do-Right Ripsaw Falls. This is not a greatly themed attraction on the attraction, but the outside ambiance of it is amazing. I mean, look at when you're over the bridge watching the cart come down and the people get soaking wet. That's really awesome looking. I mean, that's an amazing themed element. But other than that, nothing special. Again, you're just outside walking through poles and poles of lines to get onto this ride. And then when you get closer to the ride, you have to go downstairs in that really narrow hallway. And it's hot and people smell bad. It's no fun. And if you're claustrophobic at all, you're not going to do this. Not to mention you get soaked on this attraction. So there's a limited appeal as it is. So I like this attraction. It's fun. It's a great flume ride. And the theming is okay. I mean, the animatronics are kind of silly and dated, but it's still pretty cool. But the line is just terrible. I mean, maybe I should give them a pass. Maybe this one should be higher up on the list as far as not so bad because it's all outside. It does get wet, and maybe you're limited, so you can't really enclose this one. I get that. I just expect from Universal to have the brain power to think of something better than this. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't hate on me because of it. I'm willing to give them a pass, but I just think they could be doing a lot better with this. I'd like to see them retheme this whole attraction. I don't know what they could retheme it to, but I don't get paid for that, and they have people there who do. But for all of those reasons, Dudley Do-Right Ripsaw Falls comes in at number 2. Now, I do have one honorable mention, and it's really odd because there's not really any queue to speak of, and that's Dr. Doom's Fearfall. But the reason I'm putting the queue on this list is because the storyline during the queue is absolutely stupid. It's silly. I'm a Marvel fan. I've collected comic books. I'm a Spider-Man guy, but I know Dr. Doom to be nothing like the character that they portray on this attraction. Dr. Doom was a brilliant, mad scientist. He wasn't so stupid to try and steal people's fear to take over whatever or kill the Fantastic Four. That's a dumb storyline, and I don't know who came up with it. There should be a consequence. There'd be so many other things that you could do that could create a better storyline that would give you options and opportunity to revamp the queue. I think it's a thrilling ride. I never miss it. Mia and I go on it all the time. Carla, not such a fan, but Mia and I do it multiple times every time we go. It is thrilling. I don't know of anything else that gives you that thrill of shooting you up in the air. I like the thrill better than Tower of Terror over at Disney. But man, the queue is underwhelming. There are some sections that are pretty neat. And a long time ago, when you got off of the ride and you walked out into the arcade, that big chair there, that big throne, that used to be a meet and greet with Dr. Doom. I missed that. I wish they'd bring that back. I think that would add to the queue. And for all those reasons, Dr. Doom's Fearfall comes in as your honorable mention. Now, before we get to the number 1, I want to recap the top 5 so far. Number 5, the Simpsons Ride. It's a great themed area with a horribly themed queue. Number 4, Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem. It's hot, it's long, it's outside, there's one room, and it's not impressive. Number 3, Rip Ride Rockit, because I think they could easily do so much more and opted not to. Number 2 is Dudley Do-Right Ripsaw Falls. Maybe I should give him a pass, maybe I'm being harsh, but again, there's just nothing in this queue other than line. So here it is.
Number 1!
The number 1 queue that needs a retheming, Jurassic Park River Adventure. Now hear me out. This is one of my favorite attractions. I think it's special. It's been there a long time. It gets a little bit of love each year. It kind of gets updated. It's fun. It's kind of family friendly, although I don't know little kids would like it because of the big drop and the T-Rex that's coming after you at the end. But it's a great attraction, always popular. People enjoy it. You don't get so wet that you can't ride it. There's a lot of good things about the attraction, so it's one of my favorites. The queue, again, outside, roped off lines. I can't stand that. This could have been something the way we saw Disney do with Expedition Everest, where you could go from room to room, area to area, seeing all of the things that you would need to prepare for this river adventure. You could have seen dinosaur bones. You could have seen things that you would see inside Discovery Center should be in this queue. And if they had done that, it would be one of the best queues out there and probably easily done. And yet they didn't do it. They've kept it outside, and they could have put walls around to keep it inside to make it cooler. Now, I'll grant you there's shade, and I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, it's just a line, again, where you weave in and out to get on this boat ride. And it's a great ride, and I just think the queue could be better. I'm not going to elaborate anymore. You get the point. Basically, with all of these, the problem is they're just lines. And I think that Universal can do better. Universal has set the bar really high with theming, starting with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And ever since then, man, they've really hit it with every new attraction, save maybe Bourne. The Bourne Stuntacular's queue is nothing special, but I don't really know what you could have done more than what they have done. It's not bad, but there's nothing special about it. Other than that, everything they've done since then has been really, really just aces when it comes to queues and attractions. And so I applaud Universal for doing the great job. I just wish they'd, you know what, it wouldn't bother me to have no new attraction next year and update some of these queues. That would be a cool thing. Because if you think about it, for the past 5 or 6 years, Universal has given us a new attraction every year. Kong Skull Island, Jimmy Fallon, Fast and Furious, Hagrid, Bourne Stuntacular, and now the Velocicoaster. 6 years in a row where we have gotten a new attraction. That's impressive. Thank you, Universal. Hold off next year and upgrade some of these queues. We'll be really happy about that. Hey, as always, guys, thanks for being a part of this. Remember, sharing is caring. Go bless somebody else today. Please go do that. Just take some time out of your day to go do something awesome for your neighbor, for a friend, for somebody who doesn't even know you. Don't expect anything in return, and watch the amazing things that happen in your life. We'll see you.